Iconic actor and comedian. It's just hard to put into words how I felt. I know when I saw that he passed away yesterday, a quote from one of my sons on Facebook about Robin Williams, I thought really summed it up well. Infinite cosmic power, itty bitty living space. I will never forget the genie. And to go even further, the son that wrote that really has a connection to Robin Williams because he learned to go to the bathroom standing up from Robin Williams and the movie Mrs. Doubtfire. And I think his passing affects everybody a different way. I just remember reading it yesterday, and it was like a gut punch, almost like it was somebody I knew. It's just so sad.
Well, it is a real tragedy, and I think it's a reminder to everybody that, depression does not discriminate. It doesn't care if you're rich. It doesn't care if you're famous. If you're suffering, get help. And, Robin Williams over the years had searched the wrong places to try to deal with it, and he was very open about that. In the 70s and 80s, he was doing cocaine, and he went to rehab for that. Early in the century, he started drinking, and he went to rehab for that. And according to a lot of reports we saw, he was in rehab just a month ago, dealing with whatever he was dealing with at that time. So, behind kind of that mask of hilarity and behind that mask of energy was kind of a sad person. And, just to give you an example of the way Robin Williams conducted himself in public, I actually had the chance to meet him. This was back in 2009. He had just done the movie Night at the Museum, and this was one of the big premiere events for the movie, and he had just gotten out of surgery. He had a major heart problem. He had one of his aortic valves replaced with the valve from a cow, and so we were all kind of wondering, well, what's he going to be like? I mean, he's not going to be his typical self. He's not going to be, the crazy Robin Williams we know. He's probably going to be a little subdued. And Robin Williams walks into the room, and it's full-on Robin Williams, people. You can hear him everywhere in the room, having a good time, telling jokes, acting crazy. I finally get near him. I look at him. I'm like, what's up? How are you feeling? And he looks at me and he says, well, I have to tell you, since the surgery, every time I drive past a grassy field, I feel a bit of longing and a little bit of hunger. And that's the guy he was. He knew everybody wanted to get the Robin Williams experience, and he was going to find a way to give it to you.
And it's funny because one of the quotes on Facebook I saw yesterday is sometimes the people with the biggest smiles are hurting the most. And now with what has happened yesterday, I think his entire life he's been masking his pain with that smile and his comedy.
Yeah, and he used the comedy to maybe get away from it and to be, kind of somebody who's having a lot more fun. And, yeah, that was the amazing part about the comedy from Robin Williams. It was just outrageous. It was unlike anything most of us had ever seen, and you never knew what direction it was going. You felt like you were just grabbing on and holding on for dear life and just ready to laugh at anything, and you were going to laugh a lot.
I have to say, one of the most amazing things I ever saw on television was an appearance that he had on the Johnny Carson show, The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. And I know this is years ago, but I couldn't believe that he was his first guest, and he kicked off all his other guests that night because Robin Williams took over the show. Johnny never talked for the entire 45 minutes that he was on, and I was rolling, laughing, and I'm like, he's not letting Johnny talk, and Johnny is just about ready to fall out of his chair. He's laughing so hard, and he's doing just all this ad-lib stuff. It wasn't stand-up comedy, and at the end, Johnny Carson apologized to all his other guests that he had to cancel because of Robin Williams.
And all the other guests were sitting backstage going, it's okay, man, I had a good time.
Now, I understand, unfortunately, he was signed on for Mrs. Doubtfire 2. My wife and I were talking about this. I don't think there's any way they could ever film this with somebody filling in for Robin.
Oh, no, doing it now with anybody else would just be blasphemous. That was something that was just getting into the development stages right now, so that's not going to happen. He actually has about 4 different movies that are going to be coming out over the next year that are already completed. We have Night at the Museum 3, which is going to come out at Christmas time. He did the voice of an animated dog in a movie called Absolutely Anything, which will be coming out next year. And he's got another movie which was supposed to be kind of an independent movie, kind of a smaller movie that that I think will get a bigger release called Merry Friggin' Christmas, which is coming out in early November, where he played the father of Joel McHale. And, the idea there was, it's Christmas Eve, and Joel McHale realizes he's left all the Christmas presents back home, and he and his dad, played by Robin Williams, have to run and go get them and get back in time for Christmas morning. So you're going to still see and hear a lot of Robin Williams over the next year.
The one thing is that Robin Williams is unforgettable, and I mean, he will live on in film.
And that's the other amazing thing that I always liked about Robin Williams. If I lined up 100 people and I asked you what your favorite name 3 favorite Robin Williams movies, they would all name different movies, because there was so much work out there and there were so many kind of facets to his talent, whether he be the comedian or the serious actor or a stand-up comedian. So Robin Williams kind of did a lot of stuff and was one of the early guys to really kind of do everything in a way that we didn't see before.
That is so true. He is one of those actors that was totally 100% adept at doing great and funny comedy and also doing very serious roles.
No, he got an Oscar nomination early on in his career for The Fisher King. He had even done, some really cool TV appearances, just recently. So, he was always kind of working. He was a guy who went to Juilliard School of Art in New York City. I mean, this is one of the premier art schools in all of the nation. And, he was there, and he was there with Christopher Reeve. And, so this was a talented guy who just found lots of different ways to get that by.
All right. Thank you, Willie, for helping us out this morning. Robin Williams, once again, passing away of an apparent suicide yesterday at the age of 63.
Now you get on a plane, there's usually some sweet southern stewardess will come on if you're getting on a plane in Georgia and go, "Ladies and gentlemen, before we get on this flight, we're just going to have a few random bag checks. These are totally random. I'm just going to read off a few names. Hassan bin Seen, Achim bin Laden, Judy Smith, 14 Arabs and a blonde, and every black man and every Hispanic man in the room is going, 'Thank you, God. We're off the list. Get ready, Habib. It's your turn now.'" And now they pat down everybody. They take away knitting needles from old ladies. "Where am I going to knit an Afghan?" Back to our in-flight movie. You remember when you used to get on the planes before 9/11? The pilots would come on and give you that whole Chuck Yeager. "Hey, everybody. Had a couple of cocktails. Feeling pretty good. Let's take this sucker down to the end of the runway and see what she'll do." Now they come on and go, "I love all of you. We are family." Then the stewardess comes out and goes, "In case of a cabin emergency, a small Louisville slugger will fall from the ceiling. Remember to take it in both hands, aim for the head, groin, and knees. Keep hitting the assailant till the is unconscious."